Hey, let's talk about war and mindfulness and what the heck is going on in the world right now. So, some say that we're moving towards World War III, and I like to just think of it as we're in a war of the mind, right? So, everyone on the planet has a different mind and psyche and subconscious. However, we're all connected in our unconscious in different forms, and we all have these different archetypes and energies and experiences that live inside of us. Most of it's out of our awareness in our unconscious. So currently, we're all in a war with ourselves, right? How we communicate with others is ultimately a reflection of ourselves because everything is filtered through our own mind. So you can literally be having a conversation with someone and both can be interpreting it in very different lenses of reality and in very different ways. And, with the post-pandemic and like digital technology, we're all surrounded by screens all day long. So we're like constantly information overload and bombarded and like taking things in, right? So it's like our sensitivities are getting overwhelmed, which is causing our reactions to get overwhelmed, which is causing our nervous system to get overwhelmed. And unless we consciously take care of ourselves, like our mind, body, spirit, we usually live in fight or flight, and that results to being guarded, acting out in different ways, being reactive, defensive, and being unable to really communicate and connect. And it's super sad because it's like, a lot of people are still very isolated with the way the world is. And, we spend all day working and on a computer screen and texting and looking at social media. So it's like we automatically are already building and creating our own reality. Like the screen we see is a cause and effect of our own selves, and if you go deeper into like automation and algorithms, it's all a reflection of you, what you're searching for online, what you're doing, how everything's interconnected. So this war right now, it's a war of like consciousness, And what we can realize is no matter like what's going on in the physical or bombs are dropping or whatever, we can all look at our internal landscape and look at the deeper collective meaning of it all, right? So to create a response, and there needs to be something that triggers it, right? So it's like if we can all start to hone into our emotions and develop mindfulness in ourselves, we can be one step closer to consciously communicating and connecting. But see, we live in this world that's polarized. So it's like people are clinging to their beliefs, whatever they are, religious, past, societal, family, whatever it is. Clinging to their beliefs and their stubborn ideas of what's right and what they know is right and how their head is just so right. And then they act, and rather than pausing and looking at the big picture, we get defensive and guarded, and then we point blame on others when we could just point the finger on ourselves and ask ourselves, what is this person teaching me and what are they reflecting about me? And then take responsibility to create the most peaceful, loving, and compassionate form of connecting or communicating, But we live in this world that's like all about media, all about myself, all about my way or no way. And then like we block and we blame and we like scold and like all these different things. And it's like, why can't we just as a humanity like connect? Like, why can't we realize that we're all transforming right now and going through an internal and external change? And it's vital for people to stay connected for their own sanity and well-being. And it's like, we can do things to people unintentionally, cause harm or, say something or trigger someone, and it can just spiral them out of control. And like the best way to work through trauma, because we all have trauma. We all have different ways our mind takes in reality, sees things, hears things, especially over text and stuff. We all interpret it in different ways. So it's like, why can't we learn to consciously communicate and connect? And what I mean by that is like, if you're in some kind of, connection with someone and they trigger you, what if you were to pause and feel the trigger and what that's teaching you, and then figure out what you need to do to communicate in a peaceful, loving manner. Don't be reactive and bolt back in anger, but like, hey man, what's up? Or like when we're texting and get reactive, why can't we call someone on the phone and have a real adult conversation? You said this and I'm taking it as this. What did you mean by that? It's so silly. And there's so many forces that play in like everything always. So it's not just like one linear path, right? Or one way to do things. But it's like everyone can benefit from being able to communicate in a better form, right? And instead of like blocking and deflecting, it's like we can put up a pause and like, oh, create empathy. Oh, I'm sorry, that hurt you? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, please speak your feelings. Because when we suppress and deny, we actually hold pain in ourselves. And that's unkind. But at the same time, when we're reactive, we're throwing pain onto others. And we're making poor choices. And when we shame another person for speaking up or expressing themselves, or we block them, or, we like call them names and start labeling them and blah, 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 it's like the lowest form of vibration you can live in. Like, you can think someone is a certain way and therefore they're this, but that's not reality, because reality is like recognizing the other person is in your sphere teaching you something. There's something there to learn. And the minute you get defensive against them and say, you're doing this, this, and this, you got to hold the mirror up and be like, actually, maybe that's me. Because the collective is going to continue to drop bombs, and we're going to continue to react, and we're going to get angry, and we're going to have human emotions, because it's healthy to have emotions. The thing is, we have to learn to contain them and control them and connect with them so that we're consciously creating instead of in lower vibrations of reaction, defense, whatever our head creates. And everyone's head creates these things, right? Yeah, because we all have our own opinions, we all have our own filters, conditioning, trauma, everything else. So if we want to bring peace to the world and bridge this gap in whatever war you're looking at, whether it's the media, the lies, the manipulation, the politics, the vaccine, no vax, like whatever argument you see that's polarizing or triggering you or whatever, it's like, how can we unify and recognize that we're all in this together, right? Yeah. And the purpose of life is to evolve. So if we want to evolve out of our karma or our past or our perspective or old ways of thinking, being, doing, we have to form the consciousness to bring awareness to where we can change and adapt to become better, more loving human individuals, right? And we can be the change we wish the world to see. Not everyone will agree with it, but we can form our authenticity and really grow in ourselves and look at this like beautiful scheme of life and like the universe and how this divine play is actually trying to help us crack through our stubborn mind so that we can live more from the heart and as happy and healthy individuals. And one person can change, but like together we rise, right? So it's like, what if we could inspire one another and like work through our pain and problems? Because everyone on the planet right now is going through something. And it could be a health issue, it could be financial, it could be a family feud, it could be death. Like there's all sorts of things happening. And the trauma is getting awakened inside of us and purged in order to feel it and to heal it. And if we're going to stay reactive and refuse to either change our mindset, our belief, or be defensive or, stay in addictions, like we're not going to win as a collective, And like, sure, like there's all sorts of forms of reality and thoughts and beliefs around everything, but it's like the war first is with ourselves, because whatever we're seeing is part of us in our unconscious. We have to have it to exist. And then we have this collective play going on that's meant to teach us powerful ways where we can rise, Like we can make positive changes and be like, oh yeah, that's a bad habit. Maybe I should shift that. Okay, time to give that up. Oh yeah, you're right. I was emotionally closed off. Time to start to open, or whatever. And those things that we stuff inside of ourselves or escape or like never look at our face, they're going to haunt us. They're going to haunt us all. And we're going to continue to hurt one another unless we can resolve issues in ourselves first and then learn to connect and communicate in ways that can bring love and harmony. And I've said it before, but like everyone on the planet wants love, and they want to feel safe, and they want to feel secure, and I believe we all want to feel good. And so the question is, like, are we going to run from our pain, stay in what's comfortable, or are we going to grow and evolve, have those difficult conversations, mend the relationship that ended years ago because of the argument, just bring the peace. I'm not saying you have to actually like talk to someone every day or have someone in your life. I'm saying mend the connection in their relationship. Be at peace, forgive, clear the energy, and don't keep building these walls and throwing these bricks, because that's the most unloving way to live. And if we want to rise, we got to support one another, and we got to love. We got to learn to look at the higher perspective, learn to be able to be expressive. I mean, think of all the suppression in our history, especially with women. We got to be able to connect, communicate, and love, and honor one another. Be able to listen to someone's perspective. Be able to debate in healthy ways. Be able to see beyond what like the TV is saying or like one person, and like maybe do some research ourselves. Look into other things, And this war is going to continue to create battles, whether it's in our family, communities, friendships, relationships, like look at divorces and like everything going on. It's like all coming up in our face. Because the only way to heal is to heal yourself. You got to do the work on you. And that requires the mental, emotional well-being to create the wellness and the balance and the harmony, So health begins with us. And like our emotional body and our pain are not pleasant, but like we suffer when we deny ourselves the opportunity to be liberated, And no one's perfect. Healing can be a very, very messy thing. But we have to believe that we're supported. And when those people show up, we got to honor it and love it. And when the pain is triggered, we got to be in it and breathe in it. And we got to stop building these walls and blocking and like screens and like app blocking and like shading people and like condoning people and labeling and throwing narcissism and empath and like ghosting, like all these things all over the place. I mean, they are real things, but like, what if we were to just wake up and look at the relationship and what the obstacles are and what's triggering us and have a communication about it, rather than living in stress, being reactive, making it all about you or how, you view the situation. Like, let's love one another. Yeah. Make peace, not war. And it's a good time to start doing that because we're going to keep going down unless we all start to go up. And at least leaning into fear and learning to love and living open-hearted and allowing yourself to open the mind to see with new perspectives. Maybe hang out with new people, maybe talk to new people, maybe read a new book, maybe do some self-help stuff and like really look at how we're all creating this reality together, whether we like it or not. And there's a cause and effect to the words we speak, the energy we have, our emotions, what we choose, our choices, and everything inside of us causes our behaviors. So if we want to change, we have to start to work on ourselves and heal our nervous system and get into the uncomfortable, and like the war, the worry, like whatever you want to call it, mental and emotional issues, all the dysfunction that we all create together. It's going to continue to build until we all explode, right? Because that's what happens. When you hold it in, you explode eventually. So we got to clear the baggage. Look at the past, look at the pain, look at how history's been crafted and how all of the history of the past is affecting the now and each and every one of us, including our minds and our unconscious that we're not even aware of, Like white supremacy, racism, like all these issues that have been highlighted. And everyone thinks that they're entitled, right? Because, well, that's America. And, we're all greedy and we're all fighting for ourselves and thinking that like the career is going to be what launches us when like, no, it's about love and health is our power. And like, we got to start with ourselves, create the health, the well-being, the happiness, and then trust the rest will happen, Like get out of these other mindsets and beliefs and just learn to love. Like really feel loved, really open the heart and be able to like love one another. That's the kind of world I want to live in. maybe utopian, but a place where we can have peace, where we can connect, where we can cry together, where we can have feelings, where we can be expressive, and where we can love one another for the darkness and the light. And when we come together to share our stories and to tell our truths and to live in a reality that's really people driven, for the people and for the heart of love and the opportunity to love and to be playful and have fun at life, And joy and well-being will be created through ourselves and our own intentions to actually do what we need to get healthy. And a lot of that is just clearing the dirt, the lens, the fog that we all have, and to realize the other person is you, and you can do what you can in your power to mend the situation, to make peace, to, rather than dropping bombs and building walls, create more love and connection, yeah? And to love the triggers and the trauma as they come up and the sloppy, messy moments, and to work through them, and to really honor those people that mean something to you. Yeah. Okay, it's time to love. I'm Kaylee. Take a like to the video and leave some comments. I just was inspired to share. Cheers and namaste.